Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 18th/17th/whatever episode of the Fans of DC Universe podcast. Okay, real quick, before we go into more, I'm going to justify that. We accidentally called the last episode the 18th, so this is the 17th episode, even though it's really the 18th episode. Okay, the only DCU podcast for the fans, by the fans, and the best source for all DC Universe news and discussion on everything DCU. So, joining me this week is me, Nathan.Payson, Donnell.
Hi, everybody.
AntLeon.
Greetings.
Mr. Marooned.
Good to be here.
And just real quick shout out, this is AntLeon's first time on the podcast.
Yes, it is.
Hey, so this week on Fans of DC Universe, we were talking about Stargirl, Titans episode 8 and 9, Jericho and Atonement, HBO Max, and the CW. But first, we want to make a special announcement about next week. Next week, we'll be interviewing the one and only Hub City Question as part of our monthly interview series. So the first interview was with JL and Mac McDonald. Last week was Applejack, which, by the way, greatest interview of all time. Go listen to that. And then Hub City Question will be this month's interview. So without further ado,
No, just sweet. I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, okay. And so, without further ado, let's jump into Titans episode 8 and 9. In episode 8, we met Jericho when he died, and then in episode 9, Dick's reveal takes full effect. And everyone is just angry at him and disappears into the sunset. Kinda. So, what'd you guys think?
Well, my first thought was, did Donna tell everybody that the true target was Jillian? Because we didn't see that, and she got all pissed off that Dick lied about Jericho.
Yeah, good point. Donna's being a bit of a hypocrite. Never said that, well, I don't know. Is that really hypocritical? Because, she kind of made it clear he wasn't the target. But, I don't know if she ever, said that Jillian was the target.
Wait, well, we never saw it, so we don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. But I don't think that's as much of a secret as what happened to Jericho. Although I'm also a little Dick, calm down. It's not really your fault. Jericho made the decision to sacrifice his life to save you. I get that you're having a little bit of a survivor's guilt here, but it's not as bad as you make it seem. That's my initial thought. But let's talk about Jericho first. Did you guys like Jericho? Hate him? Is he not the greatest guy you've ever met? Go. Just discuss.
I liked him. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked him as a character. I like that they kind of changed up the power a little bit where he still took over people, but his body was vulnerable, which adds its own little twist.
With everybody else.
So everyone was talking about the possibility that Jericho is actually controlling Deathstroke. Does this still seem possible?
Well, maybe his consciousness is inside, but not necessarily in control, which means he needs a new body in order to function because of the way they set up how his power works.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think at one time he might have, especially when Dr. Light was killed, right? I think in those instances, Jericho was perhaps controlling. What's interesting is we'd have to assume that Jericho has gone kind of nuts and has become a villain at this point if he is the one doing all this.
I don't think that seems a little out of character. I mean, he doesn't really seem like I'm going to get revenge on the Titans type person.
Which is what they did in the comic. So in the comic, they actually made him twisted for some reason, So it's possible. But yeah, I know that's what I've been banking on. I know a lot of people were also concerned about how everybody just turned their back on Dick in episode 9, right? Where he says what he says and they just leave. I just got through watching him myself just now, and my feeling was it actually felt more like a domino effect. I think a couple people left because they were mad at him. I think others left like Starfire because she had other stuff to do, and then other people tagged with her, that kind of, I think that made sense there. So, that's my.
I think it was a little sudden. Dick leaving, everyone leaving. It just felt like Everyone was like immediately like, I'm out of it. Bye, 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 bye. Oh, hey, Starfire, you're saying? Oh, no, I just got a random text. And then Dick's like, well, I guess I'm gonna leave too. And then everyone expects Gar to just stay there.
That was a little odd that you leave
What?
somebody underage to take care of somebody comatose. That didn't make an awful lot of sense.
The other thought I had is they had like the day 1, day 2, day 3 sequence, but he seemed to have lost all his energy very quickly.
Yeah,
That was definitely one of the better parts of the episode.
It was, but it was like each day, it was like a very drastic difference. Like generally, you would think he'd be hopeful for about a week, and then like week 2, he'd start to be like, and then week 3, he's like, I'm done. But no, it's like day 1, day 2, day 3. Like what?
Yeah, by day 2, day 3, he's drinking the coffee pot out of the coffee pot like he's Ghost Rider. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I get the sense though that just again helps color in who he is, right? A lot of people like the ones who did like the episode are the Beach Boy fans, and again it points to his age. Remember, this is the guy that met Robin in an arcade or whatever.
Yeah. So it's a comment on the youth of today and how quickly they are distracted.
Well, just on youth in general, you don't expect someone who's 16 to have the same resolve as somebody who's 25. It's just it's a different world.
True. All right. Yeah.
But okay, as the 18-year-old in the room, I'm going. I know I'm that young. I'm gonna say this. Okay, it felt out of character even for like a youth. You know, like.
Well, some people have drive and some don't, Nathan. You'll find that out as you go into the work.
Yeah, but he had like really, really strong drive day 1. And then like day 2, he had like no drive. And then day 3, he had negative drive. It was like, what?
He was all by himself. He might be a people person that needs to get energy from other people.
True. I did kind of like that he was reading A Tale of Two Cities to Superboy, though.
Oh, I do have to say, one thing that keeps me hanging on with Titans, even for a in-between episode like this, Crypto. Love that dog.
Hey, Crypto is
he's a good
best
dog.
Oh my god. You guys, I just started thinking about SNL last night, but I'm not going to talk about it because it's the wrong show. But dogs had a night with SNL. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. Going back to Crypto. Crypto deserves his own, like, mini TV show.
I heard that they were making an animated film on it, on the Super Pets.
I know, right? It's going to be so much fun.
They could do a whole episode. They could definitely do an episode of him, and I think we'd all be captive.
Yeah, it'd have to be a short.
I mean, guys, when I grew up, there was a show, it was called Lassie, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're way outdating me, but okay.
Well, I'm sure you have a device in your hand that you can consult, my young friend.
Well, not only that, I think there was another series called Rin Tin Tin, but let's just not go there. Let's just move forward.
And after Lassie, was a dog called Benji.
Okay, Benji's a really good show. I have seen that.
All right.
I'm not that young, but...
Never heard of Benji in my life. That's okay.
What?
Really?
Dono,
I
really?
think older than me, Don.
Maybe, I saw an ad or something. Anyway, let's move forward. But, overall...
Wait, no, this is not okay. Dono, you've never seen Benji?
Oh, no, never.
Wow, that's depressing. Well, you know what the first TV show I ever watched that had a dog as the main character was? Betch with Ruff Ruffman. Probably none of you know what that is.
I don't know. Nope.
Probably one again. I'm not even catching it.
Betch with Ruff Ruffman.
Oh no, I saw that. Yeah, that was good.
Oh really? Such a great show. I miss it. I would honestly want DC Universe to pick it up and like incorporate it into their franchise. It would never happen.
We're going to get to DC Universe later, of course. Yeah, that I'm having all kinds of
guys,
agita about, too.
What if for DCU, it's just Fetch with Ralph Ruffman? For the new DCU Unscripted, it's just Fetch with Ralph Ruffman. But with DC...
Everybody knows that the best dog in the DC comics is Rex the Wonder Dog.
Hey, yep.
The best
what
dog.
would we call it?
Wasn't there
with Crypto?
Wasn't there an Ace? I thought there was an Ace the Bat Dog. Right?
Ace the Bat Hound.
There's Ace the Bat Hound, yeah.
What's the name of the cow? What's the name of the bat cow?
I think he's just Bat Cow.
Bessie. Yeah, it's Bat Cow. But I think he's also named Bessie.
See, we've already come up with a new show for DCU.
There's two dogs,
with Bessie and Crypto.
Isn't there two Bat Hounds, Ace and Titus?
I don't know.
I think there's two. There's Titus and then Ace.
Man, I want to see this Super Pets TV show now.
Heck yeah, man.
Because I know there was
So my mute is working great, right, guys?
When Titans is on, like, season 12, and it's running out of ideas, just start giving Crypto its own, like, 20-minute segments.
Bring in Streaky the Super Cat.
Yeah.
Should
and,
we,
what's
guys,
what's the Atrocitus cat?
Dexter.
Oh, yeah, the real evil one. I'm trying to think. It's red, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, like,
that was great.
Blood out of its mouth.
Yeah.
Is it not Dexter?
And we're not sure if Larfreeze is an animal or not. He's hilarious. I love that.
Anyway, how'd we get here?
What? So if we go back to Titans and we talk about the episode in general, what do we think about Connor overreacting, doesn't know the strength of his own powers, and all of a sudden he's a wanted man with the police?
It's kind of depressing.
Does that work for everybody?
It's kind of depressing.
Well, he's a new hero.
Sad ending that was.
That's a really big mistake.
Well, see, I thought they missed the gun there. Okay? Because I'm going to get kind of political here. But they go, help, they're hurting me. And my immediate impression when I saw police was, oh, it's a black man. Right? And I was like, I don't know, it just felt like a very weird scene. Because they weren't really trying to say anything. Other than that. Like, why was the man, like, why make the executive decision to have a man being handled a little too heavily by the police and complaining, help, they're hurting me? It just seems very out of character.
Well, not only that, but look how fast the police responded. If the police really responded that fast all the time, we'd be in a very different way.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, all the police were on top of him right away.
Well, within
seconds.
It just felt out of character. Like it never really felt like it worked, and it never felt like there was a purpose other than to get
maybe
Superboy.
He's still in his coma, and it's another one of the dream sequence.
Well, part of it was watching Superboy make a mistake, but then it went to the next scene is Beast Boy calling Dick, please pick up, I made a mistake, come help me.
Yeah, and then Dick gets himself arrested.
Yeah, that was great.
Honestly, Atonement was kind of a mess. I'm not going to lie.
Well, we hope for the best. Isn't there 3 more episodes?
Yeah, but
that's like a whole movie, right? That's like a whole movie at the hours. That's like 100. That's like a 2-hour movie.
45 times 3.
I believe.
Okay, so we have 3 hours left, and the first hour, episode 10, it's going to be the first episode to not. It's going to be the first even episode, I think, to not call itself after one of the characters.
Yeah, I think it's called Fallen.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a character named Fallen. Is there?
Not to my knowledge.
Probably, but I don't think that's what they mean. I think they mean everybody is fallen. But hey, I can't wait to see what happens.
I don't know.
I want to know what happened to Raven, because she walked out of... Even though she wanted to go with Donna.
That was so weird. Like, they've been building up this Garth Raven thing for forever, and then she randomly just decides to up and leave, and then does whatever she does to Donna. I just feel like they've just... Like, Titans is kind of having a problem with plot threads right now, of having too many. And one solution to juggle that is to really take your time to make each plot thread really interesting and make no effort to make them intertwine. That way, if you need to not use a plot thread for a week, then that's okay. But like, generally what you either want is one or two plot threads that are intertwined, or you want 12 different non-intertwined plot threads. Instead, what we're getting is 12 intertwined plot threads, which don't make any sense because there's too many things to juggle. Like Game of Thrones is a great example of a show which can handle like 20 not intertwined plot threads. Like the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones have like stories that don't even like connect to the main story at all.
Wait a minute, your parents let you watch Game of
I'm 18. Oh my god. I'm
you
not
just turned 18. What did you watch it last week?
Before that,
when you think what? I mean, it's mature as 17 up. I've also only seen the first 3 seasons.
I'm just shocked. Well, I'll get over it.
Okay.
I'm sure Titans will wrap up all those plot threads in season 3's first episode.
That's too funny. Yeah. Wasn't that the biggest waste? The first, how about you just forget you even did the first season, do a whole reboot?
It's like what? I'm like, wow.
That season, the first episode of season 2, kind of felt like if they didn't get the green light for season 2, that was most of the how they were going to resolve the one season.
Yeah.
And then they got the light. It got green lit, and they're like, "Oh shit! We gotta figure this out."
Yeah, they just had to move on to the next season. Just like
honestly,
trash it.
I think they didn't like the season 1 finale, so they were like, "Let's just delay it and try again."
I saw that the Doom Patrol was a part of it. So like, I guess
the season
they had
finale.
Yeah, that they're supposed to like come in at the end, and I'm like, well, that wouldn't work if they're having their own TV series. Yeah, because if you look at some of their Instagram photos, like April Bowlby was like with who's the girl who plays Donna Troy?
Connor Leslie.
Yeah, Connor Leslie took a picture of her, and I'm like, well, they weren't on the same screen at the same time, and I don't recognize this background.
This is right up there with the Snyder Cut. Now I want to see that version.
I know, it's like there's the
Speaking of the
episode.
Snyder Cut, guess who announced that they've seen the full Snyder Cut?
Jason Momoa.
Jason.
Yeah.
Jason from.
We all keep up with this stuff.
Every time, it's so funny.
Down.
Every time I'm like, the Snyder Cut conversation is going to die out pretty soon because there's no new news in the front. DC has someone be like, "Oh, I've seen the Snyder Cut," or "I think everyone should see the Snyder Cut," or "This is something that happened in the Snyder Cut," and then everyone just jumps back on the release the Snyder Cut train. I'm just like, either release it or just say it's never happening, and fans just stop asking.
Fans.
Well, and on the bright side, at least it gives people something to do. Like they bought that huge billboard during Comic-Con.
Oh yeah,
probably these people are rabid. It's cool. We all have our thing. I've got, I'm still holding out that there's aliens in Area 51. It's all good.
Of course you are, Donnell.
I still want Krypton season 3.
Krypton season 3. I know, right? I want that way more than the Snyder Cut.
I know. And
Batman, Superman isn't even
while we're going all over, I actually finally, and I actually ran a watch along for Krypton season 2 all summer, where people would actually go out and buy the thing because it wasn't on DCU, right? So we're all watching it. And then I ended up having to miss the final episode because I was traveling. So I think that might have been the week I was over in Chicago doing the live podcast we did. I think it was episode 8. But anyhow, finally, last weekend, I watched the last episode of Krypton, and I liked it. It was actually pretty darn good, and I'm real sad that it's not coming back.
Every episode of Krypton is better than Titans.
Nice.
Every single episode. It's not even close. You're
right. The drama's good. The science fiction's good. We're not doing a lot with science fiction
than Titans.
What? It was?
But a lot of great ideas.
It has a cheaper budget than Titans.
I did not know that. It looked like it was...
No, it's the people who produce it are incredibly good with their money. and usage and make it look fantastic.
And
But
concepts, the whole thing with the cloning and the space elevator, all those, and Brainiac's ship and all that.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool,
dude, that was
It's
so
about-
good.
Oh my god, it's about the price of a Supergirl season, right? Titans.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's more expensive than it's a lot. Titans is way more expensive than Supergirl, but like, yeah, it's about the price of a Supergirl season for Krypton.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
depressing
And
to
so
see
it's
how
not that
bad the viewing
expensive.
was.
Like, why isn't DC Universe?
Yeah, but they had almost.
I always knew that, like,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dono.
It's just too expensive for sci-fi. It's not that it's
Well, right,
like,
and also
expensive.
nobody was watching it. I mean, it wasn't even 500,000 people viewing
But
it.
who was watching it? What audience was
I was
watching
watching it.
Yeah,
I
no,
was.
but let's figure it out. What audience was watching it? DC
It would have to be
Universe
people
fans.
that are into
Dude,
right.
it
People
was
that are
like-
into the minutia.
Anyone who was watching Doom Patrol Titans was also watching Krypton for the most part.
Exactly.
So it just seems like the
because they had
perfect
all the
pickup.
asides,
It's cheaper than Supergirl.
Lobo, all that stuff. Yeah.
It had potential, and and Warner Brothers was working on spin-offs because it was so good. It did exceptionally
Right.
well when season 1 came out a year later on DC Universe. It did exceptionally well. There's so many things that just don't make sense.
Well,
Krypton
and it might
season 2
be
is
bad.
proud of thanks to DC Universe.
Sci-fi apparently is known for, like, cutting stuff.
Well, it was sci-fi's
Right,
most
like the
viewed show.
Expanse. Right.
Well, it was sci-fi's most viewed show, but it was too expensive. It was more expensive than the views, so it didn't really
Mhm.
matter. But of course, if you're CW,
Well-
you have the money to fund it. If
Uh,
you're Warner Brothers, if you're HBO Max, you have the money. Sci-fi just didn't have the money.
Let's hope. Let's hope that somehow Warner Brothers, HBO Max can buy it. And we're going to get to all that stuff later. Maybe we should wrap up Titans before we go on to the
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going all over the place.
Oh my god. This
Oh
is how
well,
this
hey,
podcast
listen,
just
but this
goes.
has nothing to do with Nathan having candy and coffee before starting the podcast.
Okay, it only has. What? No. Okay. In all seriousness, actually, the real reason I'm all energetic is I just submitted my first college application on Thursday.
Ooh.
And if you haven't filled out the Common App like this year, which no one has, none of you have. But if you're filling out the Common App now, whenever you submit and finish an application, there's a button that says Celebrate, and it just sends confetti all over your screen. And so I just kept spamming it because I was so happy that I got one
Very
done.
nice.
Ooh, anyway.
Mhm.
I
And
had
of
to
course,
submit my college applications on paper.
I literally can't imagine that. I think it must have been the most painful experience to have to like type in your grades like every single time.
Well, that's
So
the way it was.
AntLeon. No, let me figure out one last
Donnell's
thing.
like,
Mr.
I'm
Maroon,
so
where are you
old.
located?
Colleges didn't even exist when I was your age.
So, Mr. Maroon, what area of the country are you in again?
I'm in good old Cali.
Ooh.
You're in California. Okay, because Nathan, one of the places he's applying for is East Coast. So a year from now, he might be doing the webcast from the East Coast.
Ooh.
No, I would just do it at the same time. I'd just be doing it at like 10 instead of at 7.
Hey, I'll
Anyway.
be on time now.
Hey. But let's
A little
talk.
personal aside there.
So let's go back to Titans real quick. Let's talk about Blackfire. Was that just a messy plotline, or was it me?
A little bit. It was kind of like shoved in there, but they want to. I guess it's one more plot line that they wanted to throw in there.
It's a lot. I was thinking that too. It's like I love the fact they're going to do it, but it's just I think we'd all rather have a simpler season where they just get the Titans to be a real team by the end and not worry about these
I know,
bitches.
right? The Titans have yet to actually go on one mission together.
True.
Just think about that. The only time they came close was with Dr. Light, in which they didn't let any of the younglings go out. And all the
And they were
older
just
people...
They weren't even in costume.
I know, right? It's like, they haven't actually
Let's go
gone
to
out in the
city.
mission yet. And now they're broken up. And I was like, oh no, the Titans have broken up again. They didn't even go on a mission together. This season. See, like part of the problem is each of these episodes hasn't been bad. It's just when you think about the season as a whole, which is what we're starting to have to do now, it just feels very messy.
Well, let me introduce something that I'm calling the Swiss cheese theory, which is if you find a hole, it probably belongs there, like a piece of Swiss cheese.
What?
Like a plot hole.
Plot hole or anything, something that just, why, like some sort of gap for whatever reason, metaphorical, a literal.
I don't know if I buy this theory. I feel like Titans is just very messy. I don't think it's trying to create plot holes. I just think it's accidentally made too many plot holes. Like,
but on that subject, I do like
what was going on with that organization way back when that was like all evil and like had like the nuclear family and everything. Like talking about plot holes. Like what frick has been going on with them? Like the asylum got destroyed, but the organization wasn't dead by no means.
Well, the organization was serving Trigon because they wanted to bring out.
But what happens when Trigon's gone? They just disappear from discussion, and now all of a sudden Deathstroke's appeared. I mean, it's just, I don't buy it. Supergirl, by the way, had the same problem its first season. At the end of the season, they set up the big villain as being Maxwell Lord getting control of this Kryptonian tech, and then they literally never go back to it once. That was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Maxwell Lord gets this fancy, incredibly dangerous Kryptonian tech, and then Lord Industries just drops off the face of the earth and never mentioned again.
Well, not only that, but you may recall back then he was having a romantic thing going on with Kara's sister, and of course season 2 they're like, oh wait, never mind that, she doesn't really like guys.
Yeah. But I mean, Supergirl's found its footing for a while now, but like that first season had some weird plot holes and just had like a bunch of like things.
Don't get me started on Red Daughter. I'm still mad. I wanted Red Daughter to have her own series.
Yeah. Oh my god, they debuted the costume for like 10 minutes and they're like, eh.
But otherwise, the new costume is she goes, ooh, pants.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Red Daughter costume.
Oh, that.
Yeah, they show it off for like 15 minutes, and they're like, we don't ever want to use this again.
So they can make it easier for her to fight each other.
Yeah, that's right. They also gave her a helmet and stuff. It was kind of... Anyway, not to dawdle on Supergirl, but Titans has plot holes like that. The first and second season, I've come to the conclusion, don't really gel together. And is that necessarily a bad thing? No, but it's a little frustrating.
Well, watching the latest episode, I thought I got a bad feeling like they're not going to renew this, and I really wouldn't. I want to see more, but I'm afraid.
You don't think they're going to renew Titans?
Hopefully, I'm being paranoid. But
honestly, I'm getting a little scared because Doom Patrol was the crown gem of DC Universe, and now that's moving over to HBO Max. Or let me rephrase it: it's splitting its time with HBO Max. Titans is kind of in a rough spot. It has these like great episodes that go from like great episodes and like a season high to like a season low at the drop of a hat. Its season premiere was a mess. Its blending between season 1 and 2 is kind of a mess. And there's no sign of season 3. Although to be fair, Doom Patrol had no sign of season 2. So
right.
It's hard for me to focus on that. So yeah, the only thing that's throwing me off, okay? We know from leaks that Nightwing is coming. We know from leaks that Ravager is getting her own costume.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's the same leak that had the Nightwing leak.
I saw that one.
Okay, it's also in there. But if that's happening, where is this supposed to happen?
Because at the very end, we got 3 episodes.
Ravager
the last 5 minutes.
It's like Ravager leaves and we never hear back from them again. Dick Grayson decides to get himself arrested. Superboy is now being chased by the apparently extremely fastly interacting, fastly.
When cops are in danger, they react quick.
Yeah, they're reacting at like the speed of light, and Superboy all of a sudden just like takes out a police car and then disappears off the face of the map. Garth is by himself, completely lonely, and thinks Dick Grayson needs to call Dick Grayson, who apparently is getting himself arrested and not answering calls, who almost moved all the way to Greenland. He's also not calling Bruce Wayne, which he was supposed to do for whatever reason.
Well, he tried, but nobody answered.
Starfire's trying to get off planet. Hank and Dawn are broke up. Donna is nowhere in sight. Raven is nowhere in sight. I mean, it feels like they couldn't be more scattered to the winds with only 3 episodes to go.
Well, we'll have to see what happens, I guess.
Like, literally not one of them is together anymore.
Yeah.
They'll solve it in the next season, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, episode 1, they all come together, reveal the Nightwing costume. Raven gets her astral form. Ravager gets a costume. Deathstroke has the big fight between like all 13 of them. Starfire gets an official costume.
Yes.
Yeah, everything's
They'll
gonna
punch
happen.
him and it'll be done with.
Actually, it's not even gonna be that. Raven's just gonna suck him into a black hole.
Probably. Do it again. Just like, hey.
Yeah. Titans, man. But like, here's the thing. The episodes are great. Like, we're being super critical about like the end game because like the end game is 3 hours away.
Well, it's because we actually care. When you stop getting like feedback like this, it means we've given up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever talk about like, Supergirl or Arrow or Legends of Tomorrow. I don't really talk about it because I'm like, I don't really care
I will say
anymore.
that I am watching the CW shows more than I've ever watched them, and they're all fantastic so far. Like, Arrow...
I gotta catch up because of the Crisis.
Of course, Arrow is still the worst of them all, but it's fun. It's more fun. And then...
It is more fun, yeah.
Yeah. And so, we'll probably do a CW review session at some point before Crisis on Infinite Earths, because I do want to talk about everything going on, because there is a lot going on right now. But I'm not going to dawdle on that. Instead, let's talk about what new comics are coming out this week.
Go for it.
Hey.
So this is what's coming out this week, not what is already out this week. Normally, we talk about what's just came out. But I figured because we're releasing this a little later, we might as well talk about what's coming. So,
Batman, I can't wait to hear. Tell.
Batman Secret Files #1, Deathstroke Yogi Bear special #1, because Deathstroke and Yogi Bear need a series together.
Hanna-Barbera.
The official end of Young Animals Doom Patrol with #12. Green Lantern and Huckleberry Hound special #1. Heroes in Crisis #2. And Justice versus the Masters of the Universe #4, Justice League Dark Wonder Woman Witching Hour #1, Justice League Aquaman Drowned Earth #1, Nightwing Magilla Gorilla Corp special, Magilla Gorilla. We gotta talk about that. Okay, special #1, Superman Top Cat special #1, Terrifics Annual #1, and Wildstorm #18. And newly digitized, we have Orion the Immortal #6. Deadman #8, Detective Comics #332, Doom Patrol #6, House of Mystery #186, House of Secrets #117, Nathaniel Dusk #3, Son of Ambushbug #4, and Superman #10. That means, Donnell, you are not getting your favorite 2 old series, Lois Lane
I was
and Jimmy
depressed
Olsen.
as soon as you said that. I was feeling different.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, what'd you guys...
Well, I'm just happy they're coming out.
Let's talk about the Yogi Bear special. Sure. Who is Magilla Gorilla?
Magilla Gorilla is a talking gorilla that was in the window of a pet shop. I forget the guy's name, and he would always cause, his various antics and trouble. And what else? And he probably went nuts over bananas. He was a Hanna-Barbera. and there was probably a theme song that I don't remember either. And he had suspenders and a bow tie and a silly
And a hat.
Oh, I
Don't
recognize
forget
him.
that.
I looked at a picture. I recognize the character now, but I did not know that was his name. Also, who the frick is Huckleberry Hound?
Huckleberry Hound was in
What?
that story we just read for the book club about
The
Snagglepuss?
Snagglepuss. He was in that, yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the sad little writers that was hiding his sexuality.
Here's the
and
problem.
all that.
I just looked up a picture of him. I recognize him. So I think that's the problem. Is all these characters? I'm like, who the frick is this person? And then I look it up. I'm like, oh, I recognize him. Okay, but let's.
Now, what's funny is I'm shocked to see these because I don't think they're on TV anymore as far as new episodes. When I was a kid, like in 1960, 61, I had this. It was like a clock. It was these games, and it was all these characters as pieces that we used to play on. And it was big back when I grew up, but I don't recall anybody watching this stuff anymore. I'm shocked it's here.
So, Donnell, you'd be happy to know there is news on the Hanna-Barbera front. There is a new Hanna-Barbera series in development called, does anyone know the new name? I don't remember.
Mm-mm.
But
Yabba-dabba-doo,
it's being developed for HBO Max.
Is it going to be animated too?
That's right, HBO Max.
Is this stuff not being played on Boomerang anymore?
Yeah, it's all there on
I would
repeats
assume.
from the 60s. Yeah. But the other stuff they just did, like Bugs Bunny and all that, there you do have newer stuff, and you have younger versions of them, animatics as well, stuff like that. But these other characters, I haven't seen them in a while. By the way, Nathan, you still there, buddy? Nathan sometimes goes into the fandom zone and then comes back and joins.
Dang. I feel that.
Yeah, he'll be back. Well, let me take over then, and I just want to talk about how important it is to have special rooms on DC Universe just for people over 65. Anyway, kidding.
I'm glad I'm not there yet. Oh, we lost them.
So, hopefully you're all taking advantage of things like these House of Mystery, House of Secrets that keep coming out. They're very short stories. They're a lot of fun. They really highlight some of the great artists from back then.
Mm-hmm.
The one that's tough to read is Nathaniel Duck, because that one, each comic is like 4 comics in one. Very fat comics, and those are a little tougher to dig into. Is anybody following Injustice and the Masters of the Universe?
No.
I am not.
That one I think has some intriguing possibilities.
But yeah.
My problem with Injustice, it's so massive. Like I say, I'm planning on just reading that after I retire in 2 years and go to part-time. Then I'll have time to dig into Injustice. It's such a wall of comics.
Well, it's not so much
like
you'll actually get through it really fast because it's like each comic, it looks like a ridiculous amount of comics, but each comic is like a third the size of a normal comic. So you'll breeze right through it.
So it's like the New 52 stuff.
Yes, well, no, not even like the New 52 stuff. It's like if you've ever read one of the digital like exclusives, like they're just like remember when we had the Young Justice exclusive comic?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's a perfect example. It's super short with like much more simplistic art, and but the story's huge and really great. But you'll breeze right through it. You'll be like, wait, that's the end of the issue. Because they really.
Maybe I'll get to it.
Like, don't get me wrong.
I love what I've read.
Don't get me wrong.
I've only read I probably read like maybe the first 10 issues. I love the setup of it. Harley Quinn with Arrow and all this. By the way, the other thing I was going to mention quick on the Detective Comics. Now they're in the realm where it was like the new look of Batman, where he had the yellow bat insignia on his chest. And it was more serious again. So we're no longer in the wild and wacky covers they were doing a few months ago. Now we're into the more serious. And what's funny is this is about the time, like within a year of this, is when then the Batman TV series came out, which was more like the wacky covers before this new Batman that rolled out that we're reading now.
Yeah.
That was a parody, wasn't it? The Batman 66?
More or
Well,
less.
Batman 6.
Yeah,
It depends how you
Adam
want to
West.
look at it. It was camp. I guess that's the way we called
Yeah.
it back then. It was campy. But as a kid, man, I remember running home from Cub Scouts just to go watch it. We all loved it. And it was the same time the Time Tunnel, Green Hornet. They even did a crossover with Batman and Green Hornet. It was
Yep.
just
I heard about that. Didn't like Bruce Lee freak out what's his name? The guy who played Robin?
Oh, I don't know.
I have no doubt.
Like behind the scenes?
Yeah, behind the scenes, because he was supposed to Robin was supposed to win against the Green Hornet, and it was like, Robin's not going to win against the Green Hornet. That's the Green Hornet, man.
Oh, I did not know that.
And Bruce Lee chased him around the set, and he was screaming it's just a show, man. It's just a show.
That's funny. What's funny about the Green Hornet show is that it's the same guy who does the voiceover for Batman.
Oh, really?
And it's the same font of the credits. The credits are the same font as on Batman.
Wow.
And a few times you see people watching the Batman show.
That's
Wow.
something.
Oh.
So, I do want to say this because I don't know what happened to my mic. But what I was going to say is they are continuing the Hanna-Barbera stuff Donnell on HBO Max. Sorry.
Very cool. Well, and I was talking to my wife about HBO Max being even a little more expensive than Netflix. So we're still on the fence. I mean, we're about to talk. In fact, do you want to segue to that now?
I do want to go back to the comics coming out, but we can just jump ahead. So we're going to jump into the news segments, and then we're going to return, okay? And then we're going to go backwards. So, following all the talk about HBO Max, Stargirl was not mentioned in DC Universe's response. However, DC Universe gave a statement reminding everyone that many awesome shows are coming. Stargirl was left out. When asked about this on Stargirl, Applejack responded it was coming and to expect news very soon. So let's talk about that first. So before we talk about HBO Max, let's talk about what's going on with Stargirl.
Okay, what's going on with Stargirl?
Yeah.
My assumption is that Stargirl is going to be just like Doom Patrol. It's going to simultaneously come out on HBO Max and on DC Universe.
So my thought is they're releasing a trailer or something this week. Because that's a lot, okay? But Applejack's comment was very coy and being like, you'll hear a lot more about Stargirl soon.
Right.
That to me makes
me
think it's starting in January or it's February. Because it's already done. Like, I've heard this countless times. It's already done. They more or less have the finished product completed. They're just trying to wait for the best time to release it. Like, if DC Universe paid for it, then why would it move to CW?
Yeah.
Right? I think that there's something to all the rumors, though. I have no doubt what we're going to get, and this is the truth, right? With a lot of the rumors we keep seeing, there's always a bit of truth to some of these. So I think we're going to find that Stargirl somehow will end up on CW in some form, but it's going to roll out on HBO Max and DC Universe first.
But I think I think it's going to come out before HBO Max starts. I think it'll be out in February, and then Doom Patrol, and then it'll finish, and then Doom Patrol will pick up, and then I guess DC Unscripted, and then Harley Quinn animated series season 2.
I think Doom Patrol is going to come out first, and then Stargirl, and I don't think we're going to see Stargirl until
Doom Patrol is May. But here's the thing: Stargirl is done. Doom Patrol is going to be out in May. And we know that because they're starting production on it in November. And it's debuting on HBO Max also. And they'll want to get it out before Oscar season starts because now they have a better chance with Oscars this time around. Or no, Emmys this time around. So they're going to want it to be coming out ahead of Emmys if I had to guess. Although they're cutting it close, so I don't know.
Yeah, and it's ready in the can. It's just a matter of getting it on the service or wherever they're gonna put it.
Yeah, because here's the thing: like it should have gotten nominated for an Emmy, but it didn't have enough of an audience to get that nomination. Like people weren't watching it.
What, Doom Patrol?
Yeah, no, like all the DC fans were, but none of the casual TV critics were watching it. So like all your Forbes,
and,
The Verge, they were loving it, like loving the heck out of it. Like anyone who reviews superhero stuff.
Yeah.
But people who review Fleabag and who vote on this stuff, Fleabag, Game of Thrones, they don't watch Doom Patrol. So they're going to want to put it on a platform where it'll get a higher viewing audience.
Yeah, of course, of course.
When HBO Max is going to be free to everyone who already has HBO, like
HBO Max comes out in April, correct?
Yep.
So here's my theory again with Stargirl. HBO Max wants to make the maximum impact when it rolls out. I'm still real convinced Stargirl will not be anywhere until HBO Max starts in April.
I think from Applejack's comment, and she said it's still coming. So I think it's going to be January, and then it'll end, and then it's possible it'll be on HBO Max at launch, and then Doom Patrol will start with HBO Max on launch. That way,
I really hope you're right. I think that they would have announced that was the only worry. We'll see.
Yeah, but I think because Doom Patrol wants to get out before Emmys. That's my understanding. And
I get you with that. I'm just saying that the fact that it wasn't highlighted at New York City Comic Convention, right? Stargirl was not mentioned at all. To me, that's a huge indicator that all that we're hearing about DC Universe and the other negative rumor mill, they're going to close DC Universe down.
Well, what I'm thrown off about
down.
Is Stargirl was originally going to be an announcement at New York Comic Con. So what happened?
No, it's got to be HBO Max, man. I'm telling you, it has to do with money. Has to do with the disaster swamp thing, all that stuff.
Yeah. I guess this is my last thought. Why I feel like HBO Max, all the DC stuff will actually be going to DC Universe. They just don't want to say that while they're using all that press time for HBO Max. If that makes sense. I
hope you're right, buddy. Because I'll tell you, I was telling my wife today about the new Green Lantern series that's coming to HBO Max. Wild. Yeah, who even thought such a thing could be possible?
Okay, but you're saying it's wonderful. But what has DC's track record been with Green Arrow and with live action Green Arrow? No, not Green Arrow, Green Lantern.
Green Lantern? One film.
But it's the guy that does all the great CW stuff. I really think it's going to be really exciting and a lot of money in it. But it points to where I think we're headed is, I'm just going to make this prediction, and this will be, I'll make sure we keep this recording for at least a year. My suspicion is that by December of next year, DC Universe is only going to be unlimited comics and some animation, and everything else they're going to drive us to HBO Max to see.
That's what I was thinking too.
I'm on the opposite end. I think DC Universe will become the definitive place if you just want DC stuff. If you want everything, HBO Max, and then you don't get comics. But if you want your DC experience, all the DC HBO Max stuff that's DC will be coming to DC Universe.
But did you see what Applejack posted during office hours? She put down what their mission statement is for DC Universe. And in the mission statement, they made it very clear their mission has nothing to do, in fact, they actually said this, has nothing to do with providing original content. It's supposed to be a site for fans to talk about and to interact about what they love about DC. I really feel, and again, think about the cost of Marvel Universe. Marvel Unlimited is costing me $69 a year. That's about what it's costing me for DC Universe for all the same comics. Why would I expect to get that plus all this original programming for that price? It doesn't make economic sense.
Well, correction, Marvel Unlimited is slightly cheaper, right? But
it's $69 a year.
Oh, are they? I thought Marvel Unlimited was $60.
No, as far as I know, it's $69. That's what I've been paying. Wait, they have an old man. Maybe that'd be the inverse senior citizen discount for me.
Okay, Marvel Unlimited is $69 a year. How much is DC Unlimited?
About $75. About $75 a year.
And when I signed up, I did it.
$bucks more.
So DC Universe is $5 more.
Right. So you're not going to get all the original DC Universe plus all the comics long term. They couldn't afford it. It makes no sense.
But you're
they
getting
know that they have it.
but you're getting comics a year later. So,
But that's what DC
but
Universe,
here's
that's
the
what Marvel
thing.
does.
If you try to argue that it's going to be a DC only, comics only service, which I don't think it is at all. I generally think HBO is just that they're just waiting to make an announcement once the HBO Max discussions died down so that they can bring HBO Max up. That's my cynical mind. But it doesn't make sense for you to have your podcast, your service be $5 more and have comics a year later. Right? And
Yeah, but
especially
that's
when
what
the
Marvel
community
Unlimited
section
does,
is
right?
free.
Yeah, but okay. Well, first
Marvel
of all,
Unlimited
Marvel
is 6
Unlimited
months.
is a year older.
No, it's 6 months.
No, it's more than six
It's 6
months. But
months. It's 6 months. Someone fact check me. It's 6 months.
well, let's leave that for a second. I'm just saying, yes, you're right. They're similar, but I think there'll still be some viewing content like animation. I think we'll have that, but I just don't think it's going to be the original programming. And if we do have anything that's not animation, it's going to be like what we're seeing with like Wonder Woman Bloodlines, right? Where it's 90 days later we see it.
Well, yeah, I guess. I guess my optimistic opinion is HBO will say, look, we already have all the stuff. Okay, we already have all the DC shows. We have DC Universe, which we can get, which we can also get fans to support because we can get double dipping. Because this is my big cynical brain. Because if we have the comics on DC Universe and we have the TV shows and all that stuff there, plus a little extra original content, all the DC fans will go there, and then they'll also pick up HBO Max for like some of the younger kid stuff would be my guess, or something along those lines. I think the two are going to have more synergy than we think.
Well, I sure hope so, and I'm on board either way. So I guess what I'm really saying is, if the worst happens, I'm still here 2 years from now if I'm alive.
Yeah,
just
true.
for the comics and the community and what we're doing here in Discord and whatever they do for animated stuff. I've been greatly enjoying. Like my once a month watch along for Legion, stuff like that. There's some really cool stuff I've never seen yet from animation. I haven't had the time.
It just feels like every time we talk about HBO Max, everyone cries for like a Hail Mary and predicts the death of DCU. And it's really frustrating.
I don't think it's the death of DCU. I think it's a planned deflation. I think, remember, they only wanted to give us 5,000 comics at first. That's what made economic sense. And then right about the time HBO Max was being planned, suddenly we hear, oh, you're getting all our comics. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Oh, my God. Well, the other argument you can make is that actually Applejack talked about this in the interview last week, so I'll let her explain it best. But my interpretation is DC's just been listening to fan feedback, and they had someone, and Applejack's boss spent a long time over break trying to get to work and making every contact they could and making every compromise they could. And Applejack says it much more eloquently than I do. But I really think it's because they want to support fans. I don't think it's a cynical that. I do think on HBO Max though. If you're HBO Max, what do you say? Green Lantern TV show, get excited. By the way, it's also coming on DC Universe. Or do you say Green Lantern TV show, then 2 months later say the Green Lantern TV show is also coming to DC Universe 1 month later, or something like that? I think
I really hope it does, because I don't think I can afford HBO Max, frankly.
What's the price of HBO Max anyway?
$15
a month.
Ooh.
But it's the same as HBO. So if you have HBO, then you're just getting HBO Max. Then just getting changed to HBO Max.
Right.
So I have HBO.
I did pay for Disney. I hope that's worth it.
Oh, I'm so excited for Disney. 2 weeks, you guys. You guys, if I'm just not there in 2 weeks, it's because I'm watching all the Disney stuff.
Did you see? And again, we're having so much fun being off the cuff today. It's like everybody's down now.
This is what happens, guys. This is what happens when I have coffee. Okay. Go ahead.
Coffee and candy. Candy. This is, in fact, we should call this the coffee and candy episode. But did you see where the guy that plays Daredevil, the Cox fellow, and the guy that plays Loki, right, Tom, they exchanged outfits for Halloween.
Oh my God, it was so cute. It was so fun.
And that's just part of the fun that we might be running into with Disney Plus and Marvel. It'd be great to see that guy come back as Daredevil. I'm very excited to see what happens the next year with Disney Plus and all the synergies. And wow.
But see, this is what we're talking about, right? Disney Plus is all the synergy stuff they're doing with their and they're doing everything synergy they can. In fact, Disney's using their synergy to release High School Musical, the series premiere, which will be on the November 7th. I'm sadly counting down the dates so I can watch the first episode of High School Musical, the series. Very depressing. But they're debuting the premiere on 3 different channels at the same time in order to say, watch us. They're using their marketing engine. And with Warner Brothers, I don't see them trying to utilize that synergy. I think it makes perfect sense for them to say, we want all the DC Universe content here. But then I also think it makes sense for them to be like, we also want the HBO content there. Because that way you're hitting all your bases.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me,
well, at least for the premiere episodes, right? Kind of like they did with that, where suddenly everybody could watch Pennyworth, the first couple episodes. That'd be cool if they do something like that even. By the way, yeah.
To the extent we're talking about synergy, they could also take DC Universe and merge it with HBO Max and make it like
well,
let's
that's
say
the
that.
thing people are thinking. It'll be a sub room.
Right. What if it's like HBO Max, and then they say with HBO Max you can download the DC Universe app, and when you download the DC Universe app, that's how you access the comics. And if you just connect it to your HBO account, you're good. But then that way you can access the comics and you can access the community. Let's say you don't have to pay extra because this is a streaming wars. They're trying to optimize everything to the best of their ability. And then they can have DC Universe be a separate identity, but still integrate with HBO Max. If I'm the executives, that makes sense. The other option, as I was saying earlier, is you bring HBO Max DC content to DC Universe. And then that way you have a two-way synergy.
Yeah, like you were saying, even 90 days or 6 months later would be wonderful. I would
all the doom and gloom people are saying, "Oh, DC Universe is just going to kill DC Universe," or they're just going to minimize it to make it minimally important and just make it comics, which I don't think will be as useful. I think if you're
I don't think it's just going to be comics, but it'll be interesting to. Let's hope they're listening to the podcast and they take our advice.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know if anyone actually listened to our podcast. Actually, Applejack said she listened to the JLWWSN episode. So Applejack sometimes listens. So Applejack, if you're listening, we have faith, or I have faith. Donnell doesn't. There you go.
Wait a minute! Now he's starting the Applejack Donnell Wars again.
Moving on.
Should we get back to the
let's get back to the comics we're reading this week. Sorry, Donnell. I had to do that. So this week, my recommendation, you guys, is Justice League, Aquaman, Drowned Earth. That's gonna be such a fun event series. Continues with the wonderful big event style that was Justice League Totality, and it just picks it up with more big bombastic ideas. This time, focused on Aquaman. I think you guys will love it. Also, Justice League Dark Wonder Woman Witching Hour is over. If you want to read that in the book club, go to go to New 52's World of Wonder podcast or book club. They're reading that this week. And then also check out Batman Secret Files. That's just kind of a fun little story. Set of stories you guys will enjoy. So that's what I recommend this week. Oh, and I guess Heroes in Crisis 2 is kind of a big deal. But it's Heroes in Crisis. You guys decide.
In there,
Do you guys like Heroes in Crisis?
I haven't read it.
Okay.
But I did read. I'm participating in New 52's World of Wonder book club, so I finished this week's selection with Justice League Dark and The Witching Hour and all that.
Doesn't Witching Hour the final issue come out this week?
I think so. Yeah, because we have the.
Okay. So you haven't finished it yet.
So no, I finished it. I'm caught up on that, and I'm ready to answer the book club questions and add my opinion to the whole rigmarole.
Yeah. What's sad is Witching Hour was an actual series by DC back in the 60s. And I believe there was even a story, like I'm doing the whole DC art connoisseurs thing with Don Heck artwork this month. And there was stuff in Witching Hour, and unfortunately not digitized.
Alas.
Yeah. So this week, why don't we just, because the two of us are here, Donnell, what are you guys reading in Legion this week?
What's that about Legion? I'm sorry.
What are you guys reading for the Legion Clubhouse this week?
Oh, that's a good question. I always plot that later. Let me think. We're doing Legionnaires right now, which I've avoided like the plague the first 6 months of the club. So on week 28, I finally opened the door on what is not my favorite, but it is a favorite of several people that are in the club, where all of a sudden the regular Legion that was out for like 40 years at that point suddenly is supplanted and replaced with these younger clones. And that ran for like 10 years. But that's the one that the people that read the Legion in the 90s know. Andromeda and these different, they had like these different code names like Spark for the guy that has the lightning powers, etc. So we're doing that, and then we go, and then next week we'll be, as of Wednesday, we'll go back to the New 52 Legion. We're going to continue to read that. So we're all done with the Jim Shooter stuff from the early 60s. That's all done. So we're just slowly marching through. It's our 6-year mission.
So, by the way, did you see what is getting announced or what's coming next week on Real Comics?
Well, it's Legion #1, which I'll have to break down and actually buy a digital copy of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, do you not have it? Oh, yeah, you will. Ooh. By the way, the art for the preview is out, but not the text with the preview.
Oh no! Yeah, I know.
They haven't released the full preview yet.
Now you're going to actually read it too, right? Because it's got Jonathan.
Oh no, I'll read it. I promise I'll read it.
Well, because of Jonathan, and then issue 3, purportedly Damien's going to show up. We'll see if he does.
Bendis is kind of smart there. I love the Super Sens too much. So when the Super Sens are in the Legion book, I'm buying it. It's not that I care about the Legion. Good for you, Donnell. But like, I care too much about Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne to not pick up this book. But I'm also broke, you guys, because I've been reading House of X Powers of 10, and this is my problem. I'm too obsessed with the series. It's a Marvel series, X-Men reboot, but I'm so obsessed I bought every single issue, which is the first time I've ever done it. So I read it all, and then I was like, I want to buy the physical copy. So I bought all the physical copies, except for one, which they didn't have, like one of the random ones, which they didn't have. And then I pre-ordered the hardcover.
Oh man, you are way over the top. And what's sad is all that was going to be on Marvel Universe in 6 months.
I know. No, I'm ridiculously obsessed with this. So it's like, and the hardcover is $60. The individual issues are $60.
I want you to know, Nathan, there are organizations where you can go for help with this addiction.
Yeah.
By the way, we're way over the hour mark, and we haven't even covered everything.
Oh,
this
no.
has been a crazy episode.
Do you guys want to end here?
We'd probably be better with all the echo going on, too. But there's so much more we can just continue to pick up next week, I guess.
But next week, we can't, because we have Hup City.
Well, is that all you're going to do?
I don't know. Generally, with the interviews, we go until it ends.
I like it.
So we'll see what happens. But before we leave, let's do our weekly TV show report. Donnell, cue the music. Cue the music.
Oh, no.
Da da da. Okay. Batwoman #5 comes out today. Mine is a long tale. Sad tale. That's what it's called. So Batwoman episode 5, mine is a long, sad tale. Supergirl episode 5, Dangerous Liaisons. Watchmen episode 3, She Was Killed by Space Junk. There is no Black Lightning this week. Flash episode 5, Kiss Kiss Breach Breach. Give me 1 second before I keep going. I just needed to do AntLeon just so I could finish because you're having weird reverb. Flash episode 5, Kiss Kiss Breach Breach. Arrow episode 4, Present Tense. Titans episode 10, The Fallen. And that's everything this week for DC. So without further ado, do you guys want to close out?
Let's close out.
Awesome.
Everybody strap in. We're landing.
Awesome. We are ending it right now. Okay. That's all for this week. We are on Podbean, Google Play, SoundCloud, and YouTube. So I guess subscribe on those services, to us on those services. Actually, please just do. I don't guess. You should. And we are not on Apple Play because Apple Play secretly has a butcher operating everything, and they kill pigs. I don't know.
Well, I will tell you this, though. If you want to see all the episodes or listen to all the episodes, YouTube actually houses everything from episode 0 on.
Yep. Oh, yeah, we have an episode 0. That's such a weird episode.
Episode 0. The 0
Yeah.
hour episode.
The forbidden episode.
Ooh. We made it as a, like, so that way we could have, like, 2 episodes at launch so we could get a proof of concept and then the first episode. Anyway. So, closing it off. So we are not on Apple Play because of some butcher. That's just my excuse for not being on Apple Play. I'm sorry. And once again, a huge thank you to Applejack for taking her time last week. I don't know why that's from old last week's script. So, that's all. We hope you enjoyed. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Woo.